Bliss podcast.
We're back. Hare Krishna. Welcome to the Bliss podcast. This is the podcast about Krishna consciousness, and it's presented by two monks. My name is Maitreya Rishi Dasa, and I'm here with the esteemed Purajit Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Purajit Prabhu. How are you doing on this fine evening? Are you having a Krishna conscious evening?
Esteemed in the category of worms in stool. I'm doing very fine, very good. Prabhuji, Maitreya Prabhuji, very good. Yes.
That is so pleasant to hear. I asked the audience who's listening, how are you doing? Please let me know in the comment section how you're doing. Are you having a Krishna conscious day, week, month, so on? Right, because I mean, obviously, that's the only way you could be doing really good, is having a Krishna conscious good time. If you're having a good time materially, that's not going to last. It's going to go down. It's not going to last very long. You get some money, it goes away. You get some happiness, it goes away, because everything in this world is temporary. Be Krishna conscious.
Seems like you really enjoyed that there.
No, this is objective truth. So now, the podcast today, what is it about, Prabhu?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Okay, so we have no idea what we're doing. But in Bliss News, we recently acquired a new property for Krishna. So we can convert it into a temple here in London. Yes, we're moving place. We are... Well, let me just give a little background because it's required for the full picture. The current situation that we're in right now is we live in a matchbox. We live in a little... I wouldn't say rat hole because Krishna is here, so it's...
to another matchbox.
Yeah, we're going to a slightly bigger matchbox, but with some exceptions. So this current matchbox, how it works basically is we're right in the center of London. So it's very nice location-wise. We can just walk out our door, and we're right next to the London Eye, which I'm sure most people are familiar with London Eye or the River Thames or like this, in the center of London on the South Bank. So in terms of preaching opportunities, it's very conducive.
London Eye is like a big, gigantic eye that is watching everyone.
It's actually the biggest CCTV camera in London. They were discreet about everything else except the London Eye. So yes, the London location is very nice, but the place is very small. It's just one room, and we share it with other people. And because we are Hare Krishnas, sometimes this does not go so smoothly, and it can be a little difficult to live with people who are not in the same consciousness as you are. So yeah, maybe you could tell us about your experience living with we have a term for people who are not like us. It's not sectarian, it's just scientific. What is your experience living with the Kamis, Prabhu?
It is very, very difficult because
Maybe you could elaborate just quickly. What is it? Why do we say Kami? Why do we say Kami? Because people who are watching this for the first time maybe don't really understand all this. What's the word? Lingo we're using.
it's a derogatory term designated towards non-devotees. Actually, they're supposed to be vikarmis. Karmis are followers of the Vedic principles who are worshipping demigods, and they want some fruitive result, karma. They're working under the on platform of karma. There are many injunctions in the Vedas where one worships a particular demigod in a particular way, and he gets result. He gets material result. For example, Lord Shiva is called Ashutosha, He's very easily pleased. So the materialists, they are very much fond of worshipping Lord Shiva because he's very kind and he awards people very fast with material benedictions. But Lord Shiva himself says in the Puranas that if you want liberation, moksha, then you must go to Vishnu or Krishna. It is not possible. So we're not running after these temporary material rewards, money, women, and so on, so on. We want liberation, but even beyond that, we want Krishna bhakti. We want pure devotional service to Krishna. That is real liberation, because even those who are liberated, yeni rabindaksham vimuktamanina tvai asta avishuddha buddhaya. There is a shloka like that in the Bhagavatam that says the impersonalists who get so-called liberated, they again fall down because they want to serve. We want to serve someone. So the ultimate liberation is to serve Krishna. So these are the karmis, but generally speaking, uh, people who are not familiar with Vedic culture, they're called vikarmis, or they act against the injunctions of the Vedas, mostly due to ignorance, right? It is not that we should condemn them. That is not good also, that we should, or, you know, we should be like the smarta Brahmins, right? The smarta Brahmins in India, they're very proud of their birth. They say, "Oh, I'm from a Brahmin family," and if you're not born as a Brahmin, you eternally, almost eternally, condemned as a low class. You can never make advancement. You have to take birth again in India, and so on, so on. So that's nonsense. Ultimately, we should always keep in mind that everyone has a potential to become a perfect human being and become Krishna conscious. So we have to be very tolerant and understanding and sensitive, and we should not agitate the the non-devotees unnecessarily, right? But of course, devotees, although they might not uh, consciously agitate, simply by the nature of their lifestyle is because it's centered around God, Krishna, it must clash with the non-devotees. So Srila Rupa Goswami said, what does he say, Srila Rupa Goswami?
He speaks very strongly, and if I'm reading your mind and guessing the quote that you're thinking of, I would say that you're thinking of the quote where Srila Rupa Goswami says that one should rather embrace a wild animal than associate with the kami. And there's another one also, I think, where he says you'd rather be surrounded by fire in a cage with wild animals or something like this, rather something to the effect of you'd rather do something extremely unpleasant than associate with a fruitive worker, someone who's not Krishna conscious. Am I correct?
Yes. Yes. Because also our association affects us. If you want to know more about this topic, we have a podcast called, what is that?
I Yeah, that podcast is called Avoid Bad Association, and it was released a little while ago by your good self.
Yeah, so if you want to check it out, then you just go to the our videos, Expand the Bliss, and there's a nice podcast called Avoid Bad Association to understand the effects of how our association affects us. We should not be foolish thinking that, oh, I am so powerful, such a powerful devotee, I can go to a brothel and I will not be agitated by seeing, people engage in sex life. I will not be agitated. I'm so powerful. A devotee is not a fool like that. A devotee understands the danger and the infectiousness. How do you say it? Infectivity. Infectivity.
I don't. No, I don't think so. I would just say to be safe, infectious nature.
Very nice. Infectious nature of association. Then we should be very careful. And anyway, so yeah, that's the answer to your question, right?
Thank you. It is. Thank you very much for providing such a nice answer. Yeah. Thank you. So now I've totally lost track of what we were actually moving. Oh, right, we're living with these. Boy, it sounds like kind of like sectarian, but it's not. It's like I said, it's like scientific, and also it's good to distinguish. Like Prabhu was talking about, it's good to make this distinction so that if you're practicing Krishna consciousness, you don't fall into bad association, and you know what is good association, what is bad association, because that mind is like a vidurya stone, which I think that's the correct terminology. The vidurya stone, it changes the color. Hiranyakashipu says to yeah, that's I'm very fond of Hiranyakashipu's instructions because he tells his devotee saint, boy saint son, Prahlada Maharaj, that the mind is like a Vidurya stone. It changes in the association of a different color. The color of the stone changes in the association of a different color. It's color changing stone. So similarly, the mind in association with different kinds of people also changes the association. Just like how if you associate with drunkards, you might not be very much inclined to drink, but if you associate with them for long enough, then you're gonna eventually get peer pressured or whatever, or just feel inclined to drink. That desire naturally arises in the association. So it's good for us to make the distinction so that we stay clear of this and we don't fall down from our Krishna consciousness. Okay, so now, so living with the karmis can be a little tough because you kind of have to separate yourself, and like Prabhu said, your whole life is centered around Krishna, which also includes Krishna activities like like cooking big feasts for Krishna and taking up the whole kitchen, and they might want to use the kitchen, so it can be a little difficult.
I think the most problematic for non-devotees is the Krishna activity called happiness. That is unbearable.
Yeah, that is yeah, touchy subject because no one's happy in this material world, and if someone does get happy, people become envious. That is a natural consequence because I want to be happy, and if someone else is happy, then I feel very upset. And if someone else is very upset, then I feel very happy. That is the nature of material consciousness. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who is a great acharya in the Vaishnava tradition in our sampradaya, the spiritual master of our grand spiritual master, he says in a song which I want to pull up, but I can't exactly remember the name of the song. Anyway, uh, he says in that song that he's describing himself as a kami, and it's very interesting because he's a pure soul, and he is describing himself from the point of view as a kami because he genuinely feels like that. That is the humility of a true pure soul Vaishnava. He thinks himself to be the most fallen. He does not think himself to be a very elevated spiritual personality. That is real spiritual realization. So he says in that song that when someone else is feeling very unhappy, I feel very much engladdened. And when someone feels very happy, I feel very much distressed. So that is the perverted consciousness of the material world. We are not enjoying. Oh, sorry, we're not enjoying when others are enjoying, and that's actually causing us much unhappiness. So anyway, yeah, this is when Krishna conscious people become happy by chanting Hare Krishna and enjoying with Krishna, then other people naturally become envious.
In this connection, I would like to quote Srila Prabhupada, who writes in his Chaitanya Charitamrita commentary, Madhya Lila, 19th chapter, 150th verse. One who desires nothing but Krishna and who is not influenced by the process of jnana marga, cultivation of knowledge, actually becomes free from ignorance. A first-class person is one who is not influenced by karma, fruitive activity, or yoga, mystic power. He simply depends on Krishna and is satisfied in his devotional service. According to Srimad Bhagavatam, Narayana para sarbe na kutaschana bibhyati. Such a person is never afraid of anything. For him, heaven and hell are the same. Not knowing the situation of a Narayana Parayana, rascals become envious. By the grace of Narayan, a devotee is situated in the most opulent position in the material world. Rascals are envious of Narayan and his devotee. But the devotee endeavors to please another devotee of Narayan because he knows that by pleasing Narayana's representative, one directly one directly pleases Lord Narayan. Therefore, a devotee offers the best comforts and facilities to his spiritual master. Outsiders who have no knowledge of Narayan are envious of both Narayan and his devotee. Consequently, when they see that Narayan's devotee is opulently situated, they become even more envious. But when the devotee of Narayan asks such foolish people to come live with him in the same comfortable situation, they do not agree because they cannot give up illicit sex, meat eating, intoxication, and gambling. Therefore, the materialist refuses the company of a Narayana Parayana, although he is envious of the devotee's material situation. In Western countries, when ordinary men, storekeepers, and workers see our devotees living and eating sumptuously and yet not working, they become very eager to know where they get the money. Such people become envious and ask, how is it possible to live so comfortably without working? How is it you have so many cars, bright faces, and nice clothes? Not knowing that Krishna looks after his devotees, such people become surprised and some become envious.
Yeah, I had a little realization off of Srila Prabhupada's purport there. When Prabhupada is talking about the opulence, I'm, I don't know if I can back this up exactly, but it is actually, if you think about it, it's an opulence to be happy when times the atmospheric conditions are not conducive materially for happiness. We, for example, here we live in, well, you could say, in most material estimations, we live in poverty. We live very austere lifestyle, but wearing simple cloth, like sleeping on the floor, sitting on the floor, no furniture, you know, eating very simply, not very much. So people, it's a quite austere lifestyle, but still, the ecstasy is there. The ecstasy of Krishna consciousness. So that's an opulence that you can be happy despite material circumstances. It doesn't matter. We'd still be ecstatic even if we were out on the street in the rain if we were chanting Hare Krishna. So that is an opulence. And naturally, people who are not happy because they're not in Krishna consciousness, they might have some material facility and they think, well, I have the material facility and I'm not enjoying like that. So they become naturally jealous.
This quote actually refers to the shopkeepers in LA in the 70s. Devotees would acquire this big temple. It's still working now at Vatsika Avenue. And it was a very opulent temple. Prabhupada called it the New Dwarka. Dwarka is the kingdom of Krishna when Krishna is manifesting pastimes of opulence and enjoyment. So Prabhupada called it the New Dwarka. It was a big church, and the devotees they actually acquired also the accompanying buildings. They acquired all this different. They bought all the buildings and they made like kind of like a Hare Krishna quarter there. Very amazing. So here's another conversation where Prabhupada refers to this. A devotee says, it is due to you, Srila Prabhupada, that we have any opulence that has come. It has come by your grace. Prabhupada speaks of the Narayana Parayana devotee that lives in the most opulent situation in the world. So that's Prabhupada himself. Prabhupada, note, Krishnas, they were surprised that we're spending 12 lakhs of rupees, India. That's a fact. How much is 1 lakh?
100,000 rupees.
100,000 times 12.
1,200,000 lakh. Oh, 1,200,000 rupees, which I don't know exactly how that translates into US pounds or dollars. I'm going to look that up right now.
It's a lot. Another devotee says, they understand that kind of talk. Their eyes lit up. They all became white, very alert when you began speaking of money.
12,200 pounds. What is that, a month?
I guess so.
A month. And that's also in 1970 something, no?
77.
77. So, boy, that's a lot nowadays. That's like, I don't know, like 100,000 a month or something.
Okay, now Prabhupada says, and our daily income is 6 lakhs.
Wait, how is it possible?
They cannot imagine, but actually this is fact. A devotee says they want to use it as an excuse why they should not take up spiritual life. If I renounce how I will live, therefore I cannot take this spiritual life. I will not be able to live. That is their excuse. Prabhupada, no, even in your country. Here there is poor country. Even your country, Los Angeles, the neighborhood shopkeepers. And the conversation ends here. But Prabhupada would um, naturally say, refer to these shopkeepers. We're envious, and then Prabhupada told the devotees, tell them, invite them to come and live with us, but they must give up illicit sex, meat eating, gambling, intoxication. So then they become discouraged, but they are envious. Where do you get the money? Why are you asking this question? Just join us. You will not have this problem with the money. Join us, and Krishna will pay all the bills, everything. This is how it is.
I think the term is cognitive dissonance. That when you have a conception in your mind and then it gets contradicted by facts, and then so that's that belief system you had in your brain stops working, and then you become very bewildered. And yeah, it's like that. I mean, people might say, how is it possible? Because the whole material world is operating like that. You go to work, you work very hard, you pay your taxes, you do your thing like that, punch in the clock, and then you get the fruit, then you get to live. But we completely kick out that system, so it's very confusing for people. But if there's no doubt that it is. Real. It's a reality that Krishna provides, because otherwise, how are we living? How is it going on? We are we are actually living like that, and we are not dead. So Krishna is clearly providing, and that is also common sense, because Krishna is also providing for all the other living entities in the universe. You down from the tiny little ant, he's eating a little grain of rice per day. For them, body weight ratio, that's actually huge. Piece of rice is actually huge. And for an elephant, he's eating tons, literally tons of foods a day. And still there are many elephants, and there's no scarcity of food for all these millions and billions of animals in the animal kingdom. Why? Because Krishna is supplying foodstuffs to them. So if Krishna, through the agency of material nature, is giving everyone the facilities for enjoyment and for survival, then why he shouldn't give facilities for someone who has surrendered his life to Krishna's service? Why shouldn't he provide for him? So, yeah, we enjoy very nicely with Krishna.
Here's another instance. Prabhupada says in a class, this is in LA, 1970. Ordinary people, they do not like our activities, Krishna consciousness. They're surprised. Garga Muni was telling me, Garga Muni is a devotee, was telling me yesterday evening that people ask, where do you get so much money? You are purchasing so many cars and big church property and maintaining 50, 60 men daily and enjoying. And enjoying. What is this? And Prabhupada laughs here. So they are surprised. And we're surprised why these rascals are working so hard simply for filling up the belly. So Bhagavad Gita says, Ya nisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagrati samyami. We are seeing that these people are sleeping, and they're seeing we're wasting our time. This is opposite view. Why? Because their line of action is different. Our line of action is different. Now it is to be decided by an intelligent man whose actions are actually right.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And I also,
Who's crazy?
who is crazy? I just had another thought, also kind of based off of this. It's not exactly directly related, but um, it's not. People might say that people might counter that. Well, if everybody were just to live like you and not work, then how would the world go on at all? And it's like it's a fair claim, because the world is operating by these companies that people are working in, and so on and so forth. So if everyone just kicks it out, skips out on it, and chants Hare Krishna, then how can everything go on as we know it? And the thing is that I mean, my little humble realization on this, and I'm sure Prabhu's going to bring up a quote which is more substantive, but everyone is inclined to a particular type of work, and there will always be people who will work in the way that they're currently working. They can do that in Krishna consciousness. There's no issue. You can also work for Krishna, just like how you're working now and enjoying the fruit yourself. You can give the fruit of your labor, the hard-earned money, to Krishna, and instead of being binding, that will actually be liberating. It's the quality of work that counts. It's the consciousness that you put into the work. It doesn't matter what you do. You might be Brahminically inclined, like let's say ourselves are. We study the Shastra, we teach other people the Shastra, the scripture, like a monk. And also there are people who work physically, or there are people who also work in administrative work, or people who work on farms. So if you have these certain inclinations, it's not necessarily that you can't be Krishna conscious. You just give the fruit to Krishna, and you will also be provided for by Krishna. You will also enjoy nicely with Krishna, and therefore the material world can also go on, and everyone can be happy. But let's.
Yeah, here Prabhupada answers this question that if everyone just chants Hare Krishna, how will the world go on? I mean, he answered it many times because many times Prabhupada was asked this question. Here's one instance. Prabhupada says, interviewer is asking, can a self exist without a body? Prabhupada, no, self can exist without body. Interviewer, I mean you say that people identify themselves, the body as the self. Prabhupada, yes. Interviewer, and that is ignorance to identify the self with the body. Prabhupada, that I have already explained, that the driver, interviewer, but does that mean a sort of rejection of the body as unimportant? Prabhupada, not rejection. Again, you come to the interviewer, but the body is important to the self, isn't it? Prabhupada, yes, just try to understand. That we have already explained. The driver and the car are two different identities, is it not? Interviewer, yes. Prabhupada, the driver can exist without the car, and the car without the driver has no value. Interviewer, well, in that case, Prabhupada, so why don't you understand first of all this? Interviewer, in keeping with that analogy, can the self exist? Does the self exist without the body in this world? Prabhupada, yes. Oh, yes. Interviewer, in this life? Prabhupada, yes. Life is always there. Interviewer, as a spirit apart from the body? Prabhupada, yes, yes, that is the ideal life. A devotee cuts in. That is the goal, Prabhupada, that is the goal. When the soul lives without this material body, that is his liberated life, just like the criminal. He can live within the jail and without the jail. But he's thinking wrongly that without jail he cannot live. But his life without jail is real life. Interviewer, that reflects the Hindu view that, Prabhupada, why you again bring Hindu view? Interview, or at least the Eastern religious view that to live this life, Prabhupada, why we're bringing Hindu and Muslim view? Interview, well, okay, I take that back then. I take that back. Anyway, what you're saying is that this life is jail and that really the goal is another life. Prabhupada, ah, yes. Interview, right? I mean that in this life, that this life is an evil prison. Prabhupada, yes, yes, now you have understood. That is not a desirable life to live in the jail, conditioned. Interview, well, in other words, in a sense, that is to reject or at least to repudiate, how do you say? Repudiate this life, this world.
I'm not actually familiar with this word.
Repudiate.
Repudiate. Yep.
Prabhupada, not repudiate, to understand. Interview, that it is not a good life. Prabhupada, it is not a good life. And the whole material world is false identification with myself. Interview, well, is it important to try to improve this life so that it won't be in a prison?
Repudiate means to deny the truth.
Okay. Yes, Prabhupada says, improve to understand that I am not a person of the jail. I'm a person of freedom. Long living in the jail, one who identifies that without jail I cannot live. Interview, well, I hope we all get out of it sometime, somehow, some way, either here or there. He laughs. Prabhupada, but we're trying to educate the prisoners that your life is not perfect within the jail. Your life is perfect without the jail. That is our education. Interview, life is not perfect in the jail. Prabhupada, yes, and the person in the jail, they're thinking, what is this? They're not working for the jail life? Interviewer, person in the jail, I didn't get that. Prabhupada, because they cannot understand that there is life after jail. They're so fool, rascal, that they cannot understand that without jail one can live. A devotee. So, what you were saying before, the persons in the jail are thinking, these people are not working for life in the jail, so they don't understand what we are doing. Interview. How is that now? Prabhupada. We're not working to keep people in the jail conception of life, so that's why they cannot understand what we are doing. Interview. You mean you're not working for the jail life? A devotee. To keep people within the conception that life is within the jail. Prabhupada. Just like a man has gone to jail, he is giving education to the prisoners. My dear brother prisoners, this life is not good. You become honest. Don't come to the jail. So other prisoners, they're working hard. They're hammering on the bricks. They think that this man is not hammering on the bricks. He's talking only. Interview. I didn't gather that. A devotee. In the prison, the people are, their work is, say, to hammer on bricks. So when if someone comes into the jail and tells the prisoners, you shouldn't be doing this, actually you should become honest and go out of the jail and be free. Now if the person's in the jail, because they will then become envious that this person, instead of working hard like us, he's simply talking. They cannot understand the benefit that he's giving them, and they become envious that because he's not working like us, he is nonsense. So do you understand the analogy? It's an analogy. Just like we're coming in the world and telling people to get out of this world to understand the spiritual world, spiritual side of life. But because we're not working like them, sometimes they misunderstand what is our purpose. Interview. In other words, you think people should get away from what they're doing in the world. Prabhupada. Yes, yes, that is real life.
Yeah, why work hard for somewhere that's temporary? That's not going to even satisfy you at all. You have that propensity, that energy you're using to work so hard. Why not spend it for something actually beneficial for the self? You're already doing it. You just have to place the energy in something worthwhile. That something worthwhile is Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, when you think about it, people are bored because they lack Krishna consciousness. Right? There's a lacking. Everyone is looking for something, and they're bored with the material pleasures. Although they are surrounded by material sense gratification, they're empty. So they create more and more distractions, diversions, like the Facebook and the social media and so many things. Sometimes they manufacture some virus, they put it in a Wuhan, and just so they can have fun. Just kidding. Please don't turn us off, Bill. Um, and So they create all these artificial enjoyments and jobs and works, and then when we come and we say Chan Hare Krishna, do the real important thing in the world, they say, well, you're not working for the useless things, you're a slacker. Right, just like Prabhupada says, the prisoners, they become, instead of listening to the person who comes to uh, elevate the prisoners, they become envious of his situation. See, this is the problem. And that's why Prabhupada, in one sense, we're all envious like that. And that's why Prabhupada says you must hear from the Guru. You don't observe the Guru with your eyes, what he's doing. Oh, Prabhupada is an old man. Oh, he has some bias. He has some bias against homosex. He has a bias against women. He's from the 19th century, educated in, conservative Victorian British schools, Scottish churches of college. You can't look like that at the Guru. You must hear what he says, the science. And Prabhupada said that's how we recognize a spiritual master, how much he talks about Krishna. So if you're looking at anything else besides Krishna, you must be cheated. You're cheated by your own senses
Wow.
and by your speculation.
Wow, amazing. The spiritual master has like a like a camouflage. He like equips like a decoy in his lila so that people become bewildered if they're not serious about Krishna consciousness. That's a very interesting realization. Yeah. So now I've just kind of spaced out and lost the point. Thank you, Prabhu, for recovering for me.
So maybe you can tell about the new place.
Right, that's what we were
I
originally.
have to say Maitreya Prabhu is a hero because he found this place and he went to do the paperwork. I was just rotting here doing nothing, and Maitreya was running around like crazy. He went to the other side of London and he rented this place. It's a little complicated for us to rent a place because how will you explain to a landlord that we have no job, nothing, and we are able to pay the rent for Krishna? It's a magic, and people don't believe in magic. They think we're kind of some kind of a, parasites or people who can't pay rent. They just want to take advantage of the place. So Maitreya very expertly. How did you do it? How did you convince them that to rent us the place?
Yeah, something like this. This is how the negotiations go. Bring, 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 and then he picks up the phone. Okay, hello, how are you? And I say, yes. Oh, hello, I'm very good. I just was looking at your apartment in such and such place. It's very nice. I'd like to start renting it. And then the landlord says, well, it's okay, you can start renting it, but I do have a job. And then I say, no, 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 we don't have a job. We just we dance and we chant for God, and we sing His holy names, and we just have fun. Wonderful. We teach other people how to do the same, and we teach that this society is nonsense. This world is temporary. There's no enjoyment here. And then the guy, he eventually he realizes that this guy, he can't pay the rent, or he thinks like that because he's conditioned to think that you have to work hard to pay the rent, and then we never get the place. So then the phone hangs up. Anyway, eventually, one place we figured out a way how to convince them that actually we are employed and actually we do make Lakshmi enough to provide for the rent. And I found this place in Edgware, which is a very appropriate name because it's right on the edge of London. In the north, which is very convenient for us because that means that you can still travel into the centre of London on the transportation with this Oyster card system, which makes the travel cheaper. So anyway, took a trip there. Wait, what was your original question? People got a little distracted by my weird reenactment of how phone calls go.
Just one thing I want to add, that the reason why we acquired a new place is that first of all it's cheaper, and second of all we're expecting a devotee, Neis Prabhu, to come from Slovenia. He's a
Haribol.
very nice young man, 25 years old, and he just wants to swim. He said that even if they do a lockdown, I will swim through the La Manche. How do you say the La Manche?
The channel?
Channel. He will swim through La Manche Channel just to join you guys and help with the Sankirtan. So he's very nice. He's chanting 16 rounds and following the regulative principles, and he wants to do some service for Srila Prabhupada. So uh, please kindly give him your blessings, all you, our nice, kind listeners. You give him all your blessings so he can stay with us and become a great servant for Srila Prabhupada.
But sorry, what was your question?
I don't know. So I think it's time to go. I think we had finished this podcast now. No? Yes? Yes? No?
Maybe some closing points.
And I think you should thank our supporters, our good supporters, our good Bliss family who are keeping us alive. And yeah, so it's Krishna, but devotees are also giving their support, and we're very much thankful. So maybe you can mention our good friends.
Yes, Krishna is non-different from his devotees. Krishna is never alone. He's always with his devotees. So when we say Krishna is providing, it also means that the devotees are also supporting the movement. So yeah, there are so many nice friends, Krishna friends and devotees that are helping us. And the reason that we were able to get this new place and how do you say make make the best of out of a bad bargain and get a place where we can house and facilitate more devotees and yeah, like that. So the wonderful supporters, let me begin listing and pray that Krishna gives me the remembrance for how many for all these nice people. There are so many. So one off the top of my head, Peter Krishna. Peter Krishna is a consistent donator on all of our platforms. He's a multi-platform Uttama Adhikari level donator. Thank you so much, Peter Krishna, for your constant support.
Another one is Mary McGowan. She is an English lady living in Spain. Thank you, Mary. Very nice.
Yes, another one is Dushan, but I don't think he actually. I'm not sure if he's in touch with our various medias. But if you are listening, Dusho, thank you also very much for your nice monthly donations with an auspicious Krishna number.
Just recently, a lady from London, she found our Bliss live stream on Facebook. By the way, if you're still not aware that this is going on, we have classes on the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam almost every day. At least the Bhagavatam is every day. And we also created a new Facebook group. If you're on Facebook, please like it. It's called the Bliss live stream. If you can't find it, just message me on Facebook. I will give it to you. So that page is growing. People are coming exclusively to take part in our live streams on Facebook. So this lady Kirana, she donated 50 pounds just yesterday. Yeah, very nice lady. She likes our live streams, our preaching, and immediately when she understood that we are struggling here in London to survive, immediately she gave a 50 pound donation. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Now, we also have another platform aside from our GoFundMe called Patreon. What is Patreon? Patreon is a very nice system, very creative program where you can become a monthly donator, a monthly Patreon, and be entitled to certain rewards. Which will dovetail your fruitive mentality that we all have in this material world. You get some fruit for donating to us. And what is that fruit? You get entitled to some lovely ebooks compiled by His Grace Purja Prabhu. These are super nutritious for your Krishna consciousness. They elaborate on the various philosophical concepts that Srila Prabhupada has in his books. And just for an example, Teachings of Lord Buddha, from the Vedic point of view, very, very nice. It's a compilation of Srila Prabhupada's quotes about Lord Buddha, and it explains the underlying story, not exactly a story, but the underlying background of why Lord Buddha incarnated, who Lord Buddha is, and from the Vedic point of view, how his movement is important and how it continues with Lord Chaitanya. So it's very, very interesting, these elaborations on Srila Prabhupada's books. And you can become entitled to these various ebooks by becoming a Patreon. And at various tier levels, at various levels of donation, you get entitled to more books and more rewards. So it's very enticing. Now we have currently 8 Patreons, and that's very much encouraging. I'd like to list those nice members here now. Most recently, Tatiana Kundalikova. Thank you very much for becoming our Patreon. We have yet to actually discover you on social media. We'd like to thank you, but we can't quite find you. So if you're listening, please help us find you on social media. Also, Peter Krishna is there. Oh, maybe she isn't on social media. So I'm just sending this message out there into the ethos and hope that you get back to us. Kanticha Corbett, sorry. Thank you so much, Kanticha. Kanticha is a very nice Buddhist nun currently living in Thailand, who's rebelling against the the Buddhist school there, the meat-eating Buddhist school, and is practicing Krishna, chanting Hare Krishna, and chanting and worshipping Krishna in a impersonalist school. Very nice.
And reading our book, Teachings of Lord Buddha.
Hi, so appropriate. Billy Mataji, Billy Hazel, she's also subscribed to our Patreon. Thank you, Billy, for supporting us and also attending our programs and going on Harinam. Very nice.
And Billy is going to help us tomorrow. We call her the Van Gopi because she has a very nice van and she volunteered to help us to move all these books. So thank you so much, Billy. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. That's going to be a good time. Also, Mr. Swarup Prabhu. Swarup is an original physically associating disciple of Srila Prabhupada. That's very exciting. Thank you very much, Swarup Prabhu, for blessing us with your support. He is also the highest level of Patreon rewards, so that is so encouraging and so helpful for our continued preaching activities. So thank you, Swarup. Also, Leslie. I'm very bad with pronouncing names, so please forgive me. Leslie Escalona Van Divine. That's a very nice name. Thank you very much, Leslie, for being our consistent supporter.
Leslie is a very nice girl. She's reading the Bhagavatam and everything. She lives in Holland. and she also reads some of these ebooks that we presented. So very nice, Leslie. Unfortunately, she doesn't speak English so well. I'm not sure if she's listening to the podcast. I don't think so. She said that I can't understand. She's using Google Translator when we communicate. But very nice lady, young lady.
Maybe if you let me know your language, Leslie, do you Spanish? Okay, so we can translate the podcast now into Spanish and various other languages and put them on the Bliss website for the pleasure of our foreign-bodied devotee friends.
Good luck. Maybe in 10,000 years you'll be able to accomplish. If you speak Spanish, then maybe yes. There was actually a devotee who translated one of our videos, kick on the face videos about the usage of the internet and the demigods. Also, he translated both of them into Spanish. He's a nice devotee from Argentina. I forgot exactly his name, unfortunately. Please forgive me. But very nice devotee. He took initiative and translated and dubbed our videos. It's you can check it out. It's on our channel. There's one Spanish video, the kick on the face video. Yep. Go on.
If you like to render such a favor and you speak a foreign language, please help us out by dubbing and translating our videos. Thank you very much. Also, Rebecca Ogema. Yeah, Haribo. I once in a yuga, I pronounced this correctly. Sorry for my offensive pronunciation of your name before, Rebecca. But thank you for being our longest running Patreon member, our first ever Patreon member. So very nice, and we're very thankful. So also Mac and Chopabu is there, but it doesn't look like he's paying. I'm looking here on the Patreon. It looks like he's not paying anymore to our Patreon. So very bad, Mac and Chopabu. You please, you gotta get back on it.
Makanchi Prabhu unfortunately had a kind of a difficulty now. He has a clutched nerve, back nerve. So he's in great pain. We're very sorry to hear this. Makanchi, please get well. Sabina Mataji contacted me today. So there's a big problem for Makanchur. Please kindly um, say your prayers for Makanchur Prabhu so he recovers soon. And I wish I could massage him, but again, we're separated. So please kindly, if you live in Slovakia by any chance, I dare you to go and visit Makanchur Prabhu and massage him on my behalf. Please. Such a nice devotee.
Yeah, please pray for Mac and Chopabu. Such a nice devotee. He's been supporting us and been preaching with us for so long. So yeah, he's very very nice devotee, and this is a great impediment. So anyway, I think that's about does it. Maybe you have some other points. I don't know. Do you have any other points, Babu, to bring up on this episode of this podcast?
Well, we thanking our friends.
There's more.
Of course. There's Aljaž Mesner
Of course.
from Slovenia. He's a nice boy also, right? You've been corresponding with him. He's inquiring about the philosophy.
Very nice.
Very nice. He didn't like the sound volume on
Yeah, I recently released a video you can check out on this same channel that you're listening to this podcast on, where I explain how to fix the economy according to Srila Prabhupada, and I made that video on my phone. So I'm not exactly like a sound mixing master, but I think it may have been like a little too loud or something like that. So Aljaž gave me some constructive criticism there. Thank you very much, Aljaž. And yes, also thank you for your support and thank you for inquiring about the philosophy. That is also very nice.
Then we have Joanna from Poland. She's been a steady follower and supporter of Bliss. Thank you so much, Joanna. And then we have Annapurna. Annapurna, she donated. That was, I think, last week on the 14th of November. Annapurna gave us 30 pounds. So thank you so much, Annapurna Mataji. So nice. She's also been supporting us for many, many years now. Yes.
Wait. We forgot a very important donor. I mean, they're all important. I don't want to make any like higher and lower discrimination. There's no such thing. But Harley David Heiser, how could we let it slip? So I took it from you and took the pleasure of thanking Harley. I know you're reaching for the microphone, but I cannot let you. I must. So, thank you, Harley David Heiser. Oh, all this not. I mean, I don't exactly know, but in my memory, at least for the Bliss podcast, one of our longest running fans, and always commenting and always asking questions and always giving his realizations and always supporting and propagating and very very nice supporter Harley. So it's always very enlivening to see your comments, and we're very much thankful for your association. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Harley.
And I also appreciate Harley's sense of humor. He's quite a humorous guy. The last time he said that he told his friend that if he doesn't donate to the Bliss, then he will kill him so he can see how the transmigration of the soul works in real life. He will transmigrate him. Of course, that was his friend. He was just, kidding. But it's very funny man. Okay, please don't kill anyone, Harley. Kill him with love of Krishna. That is allowed. So I think that's pretty much it. If you also want to be praised on this Bliss podcast so nicely, you can give a donation of your choice. We're very much in need, of course, always. There's also Dr. Robin, but we thanked him the last time, but we can thank him again. There's no harm. Dr. Robin is quite a prolific commentator and our good friend, and he really doesn't have much money. He's living on very low money, and later he gave even less. His last money he gave to the Bliss. Somehow he managed to donate 10 pounds or 10 euros. I'm not sure exactly, but every single donation we appreciate, and it makes a difference. And in this way, somehow we're able to push on. It is not easy, especially now without book distribution, which is pretty much 80% of our income. So now, because of this lockdown, everything has been stifled. So anything helps, Prabhus. If you are feeling a little bit generous, you have some extra money, extra £5, extra £10, anything. It doesn't have to be 1 million, but we wouldn't mind. Please give a donation. All the links are there in the descriptions. We're trying to preach Krishna consciousness in whatever way we're capable of. We're running our online preaching quite heavily, engaged in trying to bring people to the awareness of Srila Prabhupada's message in Krishna consciousness. We also are training devotees, just like this devotee who's coming from Slovenia will get a training, and this is something Prabhupada wanted and wants. Please support. It's a good cause. There are many things we're buying and supporting useless people where rubbish and then they're simply creating rubbish in this world. Whatever you buy, you're supporting those people. We're giving you Krishna consciousness. We're keeping you alive. If you listening to these podcasts, I'm sure you're getting enlightened and encouraged in your Krishna consciousness. So please show your love. Give a little donation. We very much appreciate. I guess that would be it.
Yeah, there's a little, also like a little story, not analogy, something, metaphor, something. I can't think of the word exactly, but in this connection with back to Robin specifically, that if a rich man has a lot of money but he gives only a little bit, that is not very admirable. But if a poor man he gives very little, like a little money, but it's the ratio comparatively is more because the poor man he might give only a little money, but it's more of his total sum because he's poorer. That is more admirable, even if it's a smaller amount of money. So back to Robin, thank you very much for finding the spare Lakshmi to donate to us. It shows your open heart, and we encourage everyone else to follow suit. So I think that is the end of the podcast. Thank you very much for listening. You can check out all our other podcasts on this channel. You can check out all our live streams, like Prabhu mentioned, on our Facebook. You can check out so much other content on all of our social medias. It's all there. It's a big ocean of bliss, and you can swim in it. So please put on your lifeguard armbands and swim.
Also, if you have a suggestion for a topic that you want us to discuss, some controversial topic or some question that you have, or something, please let us know in the comment section and we'll do it. You just say it, we'll do it. It's not that you're gonna waste your time writing it. We'll do it. Just write it down. We'll do a podcast on a topic of your choice. All right?
Hare Krishna.
Hari bol.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Jai.